Time and time again, animal seizures top headlines here on News 10.
The frequency has some local officials concerned about the growing problem.
And those who face the task of dealing with it must figure out where the animals have to go.
News 10's Hunter Petroviak looks at the impact animal hoarding has on our town in tonight's special report, Capacity to Care.
This is absolutely unjustified. She had no idea they were in the house.
These images may be sadly familiar. Code enforcement goes into a home and seizes animals, sometimes dozens of them, from deplorable conditions. For Lori Tharp with Code Enforcement, it's a reality she's seen growing.
Over the past year and a half, we have come across a lot of residences in town where people have way more than the allotted number of animals they should have. I don't believe these people intend to start out that way. I believe they have misguided compassion.
Misguided compassion that leads to situations like the city taking in 44 cats at this home on 18th Street, creating hazardous conditions for the animals and anybody around the house.
It's not only not healthy for the animals, but it's definitely not healthy for the people that are living in those conditions. And that's really one of our big concerns is the people. Obviously, we're here for the animals, but the people have to be taken care of first.
And once the animals are taken from a home like this one, the question remains, where do they go? Ideally, the Humane Society, but only if there's space.
We do the best we can to manage our intake of animals. We know that we have a finite amount of space, and if we're full, we're full.
And even if there is a spot for them at the shelter, the cost of keeping them is not cheap. Something Fred Strom with the Humane Society says they have to deal with to help the animals recover.
Every animal is assessed as an individual. Their behavior and their medical needs are taken care of at each animal's level just to make sure that they get what they need. And we just like I said, we give them what they have to be taken care of.
Care that the animals likely did not receive from where they were taken, but care the owners probably thought they were giving.
There is a term that's called capacity to care, and you have to know what your limits are. You have to know that you can only take care of X number of animals. Your income can only support X number of animals.
I believe that these people have some type of issue, maybe a void they're trying to fill, but I believe it is a sickness.
The problem might not have a perfect solution, but there are things that can be done to make a change.
I would like to see in the next years, I'd like to see more cats around town with their ears tipped. And that tells me that these cats will not be breeding, they've been fixed, and they're living their life, not breeding.
Trying to stem the flow of hoarding and keeping animals and people safe. In Terre Haute, Hunter Petroviak, News 10.
Due to shelter overcrowding, there's been the need for community partners to step in. Both Tharp and Strom agree the problem would be worse without volunteers taking animals in.
Absolutely. Tomorrow, News 10's Lindsay Yates will speak with one of those volunteers. She'll also talk with an animal hoarder to learn more on their thoughts when it comes to hoarding.